What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, some fans, not all, but some were noticeably very upset that we didn't get an X-Men announcement during D23 or San Diego Comic-Con, but it's pretty much common knowledge at this point. There's some contract stuff holding back Marvel Studios from casting a lot of those main characters, and another thing to keep in mind, Marvel Studios has plenty of sagas and years left after the conclusion of the multiverse saga. Well, yeah, it would be awesome to have some X-Men involved in Avengers Secret Wars. There are plenty of years to come after that. As evidence of this, and as we reported on just days ago, Marvel has officially added their first 4 Phase 7 dates to 2026, and now understanding the landscape of where they are with the contracts and the Fox characters, we presume at least one of those is going to be the first X-Men film. Well, that's where we find ourselves with a major update coming from Screen Geek today, indicating which run of X-Men comics and team they're going to base the first X-Men film on in the MCU. We're going to break down the entirety of that report, the details there within, and talk about how this is tied to one major MCU director who not only wrote these comics but also worked on 2 Avengers films. We're breaking it all down, the first X-Men film in the MCU and where Marvel Studios is looking to go for the origin. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button, we do daily Marvel content at the channel, and that's all we do. Everything from official Easter eggs, breakdowns, trailers, and reviews to the occasional industry insider report like we're covering today, and everything in between. So if that sort of thing's for you, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. That will automatically enter you to win our ongoing PS5 giveaway. If you want, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so this broke yesterday under the headline, Exclusive Plot Details for X-Men MCU Movie Revealed. This is from Screen Geek, written by Frank Palmer. This is what they go on to report, quote, "Our sources have told us that Marvel Studios' current plan is for the MCU's X-Men film to be based on Joss Whedon's astonishing X-Men run." Yep, that's right, the same Joss Whedon who directed the first 2 Avengers films. The Astonishing X-Men was a comic book series continuation of Grant Morrison's New X-Men. Whedon's run began in 2004 and ended in 2008. It's unclear which X-Men team the studio plans on using, but it's worth noting that the lineup in that series was Cyclops and Emma Frost as team leaders, and also included Beast, Kitty Pryde, Wolverine, and Colossus. That group was also featured in various limited series, including World War Hulk X-Men. Whedon's Astonishing X-Men run featured 4 different story arcs: Gifted, Dangerous, Torn, and Unstoppable. We'll talk about all of this in just a second. A summarized version of the overall plot is that the team must stop an alien race from destroying Earth, because that's brand new and fresh to anything superhero, while also dealing with the announcement of a mutant cure and various other problems that come along the way. Pretty much par for the course for the X-Men. They also go on to mention, of course, because Joss Whedon has been the center of a ton of controversy as of late, even though he worked on the Avengers in the Avengers Age of Ultron, it's unlikely, at least in my opinion as well, that he would be back to direct the X-Men, even if they are based on the comic book series that he wrote. Now, there's a ton to unpack here, but I'm going to sort of contextualize this where I can, and of the recent news. First of all, we know Colossus is headed back. The actor who played him in the first 2 Deadpool films over in an EU Comic-Con confirmed he's going to be a part of the 3rd film, or whatever they call it, in the MCU, and that they'll start filming next year. So that's at least one member of this X-Men team that will be involved before Secret Wars. We also know as soon as they can get Wolverine in the MCU, he'll be in, even if that's before Secret Wars as well, considering Hugh Jackman may have turned down the role and given them the green light to go ahead and recast that character. So look for some of these characters, the ones at least that aren't held over by contractual obligations, to show up before the end of the multiverse saga. That would lead into an X-Men team, and I really like how this checks the box of not including Jean Grey and falling into the normal trope of the love triangle between Wolverine, Cyclops, and Jean Grey, and then in eventually to the Dark Phoenix saga, something that Marvel Studios is going to avoid at all costs, not just because it's their hallmark to not do what's been done before, but because Fox messed up that storyline twice and as bad as they did. Keep in mind, and as they mentioned, this is also the same team that featured in the limited series World War Hulk X-Men, and as we well know, World War Hulk is probably the most rumored and anticipated project Marvel Studios hasn't confirmed, although it's been reported across the industry. So you could look for this team to be involved in the multiple crossovers that they have coming up. Now, the 4 arcs that were featured during the storyline, Gifted, Dangerous, Torn, and Unstoppable, really help set up the X-Men where they're at in the comics and explain this team, so this actually makes a lot of sense to be adapted to the main screen based on the way that Whedon wrote the story. It was during the first 6 issues, the Gifted storyline, in which it focused on each character individually, the way we expect they will in the MCU. It's also very important to note that during those first 6 issues of Gifted, Whedon introduces the mutant cure, which of course a detail that they did explore during one of the first X-Men films, but for me always materialized to the otherness, how society would treat mutants and themselves, looking at it as a disease, something that needed to be cured. And in relation to the MCU, you can see very clearly how we're headed headlong into that. The Sokovia Accords, of course, were just the tipping off point for how the government wants to control quote-unquote enhanced individuals, but we've seen it continue into Phase 4 with Abomination, with Ms. Marvel, with Sword, and White Vision. We've seen it again and again, so expect the MCU to sort of keep working at that storyline and making the divide between the government and society and how they view mutants and other superheroes and supervillains. Watch that divide get bigger and bigger and bigger, and so it won't be all of a sudden when we get there. This seems like it makes a ton of sense in context of what Marvel Studios might want to do with the X-Men, but try to keep in mind there is a lot of time between now and when this first film is going to come out. We are pre-script for sure, and if you're wondering how anybody could have any sort of details and scoops like this stuff gets out there, otherwise I wouldn't have a channel over the last 4 years. But everything and anything is subject to change. Also, don't panic too much about not getting X-Men in before Secret Wars. Like I said, I think there's a real good chance we're going to get some of those characters, maybe not as an X-Men team, but involved in the Secret Wars battle. And for me, it's all about Wolverine and ASAP. But you guys let me know down in the comments, first of all, your thoughts on this team. Again, let me run down the lineup. It's Cyclops and Emma Frost as leaders of the team. Then you've got Beast, Kitty Pryde / Shadowcat, Colossus, and Wolverine. For me, those are some really good classic X-Men, although I'd be surprised if they didn't work Storm into this team, and somehow it seems like that's all in front of them. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments quickly. Let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. Alright, we're still giving away PlayStation 5s all the way up to $1 million. The next milestone is $1 million. We're also announcing a brand new giveaway tonight during the live watch party for She-Hulk. Yep, we still do that at the channel, so if you stay up to watch the episode anyway, tonight's going to be a banger. It is the Daredevil episode. We go live at about 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 Pacific, an hour before the episode goes live, and then we watch together, talk about it afterwards. It's a great time. If you want to come by, we'll be doing that tonight, but if you want to be entered for any of the giveaways, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button, then leave a comment down below. Because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. Please, any of the WhatsApp spammers that are in the comments, my channel, anywhere else on YouTube, never ever reply to a comment that says you won and then asks you to contact them on a different platform. No YouTuber will do that, and no YouTuber will ever make you pay for shipping. Those are scammers. Report those comments and keep it moving. If you want to keep up with the content, the best way to do so is to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on. And as always, if you like today's video, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button. My name is Michael Roman. You can find me in a couple of places, Instagram and Twitter at I'mFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, wherever you listen to original music under the name All Fires. And while I sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.